car won't pass 1500 to 3000 RPMs. When you try to accelerate but your car won't go over 3000 RPM, this can be really frustrating. Whether you're on the road or simply idling, the inability to reach higher RPMs can be dangerous. While diagnosis typically requires professional tools and expertise, there are some steps you can take to gather some information and potentially identify the issue by yourself. Usually, most common cause of a car that doesn't rev past 3000 RPM is caused by a clogged fuel filter or restricting the airflow to the engine. 21 reasons your car won't go over 3000 RPM. 1. Bad mass airflow sensor. It measures the air entering the engine and provides information to the ECU. The ECU uses this information to calculate the amount of fuel to inject into the engine, altogether with the amount of air. But if mass airflow sensor fails to provide the correct readings to ECU, then it means incorrect fuel to air mixture combusted in the engine and can result in misfire or the engine enters limp mode. Either way, it can mean the engine may not rev past 3000 RPM. What to do? To check the MAF sensor, unplug it from the connector to see if the engine will rev smoothly and pass 3000 RPM. 2. Faulty or dirty oxygen sensor. The oxygen sensor, it is used to detect the oxygen amount in the exhaust stream and then sends that information to the ECU. But if the oxygen sensor is in bad condition, it may send incorrect information to the engine ECU, causing the car to not pass 3000 RPM. What to do? You can diagnose a faulty oxygen sensor by using a scan tool for error codes. If the error code shows that the oxygen sensor is the problem, you can clean it with an oxygen sensor cleaner or replace it if it's needed. 3. Low fuel pressure. This problem can be by a bad fuel pump, clogged fuel filter, or other issues. Because there is not enough fuel getting to the engine, it can cause the car to not go past 3000 RPMs. What to do? By diagnosing low fuel pressure with a fuel pressure gauge to measure for the pressure in the system. If it is low pressure, you can replace fuel filter or the fuel pump if it's faulty. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for the right installation. 4. Blown EFI fuse, electronic fuel injector fuse. The EFI fuse acts as a safety device. If there's a short circuit, overcurrent, or some other electrical issues in the EFI system, the fuse will blow or pop, interrupting the electrical flow and preventing potential damage to the EFI components. This helps to maintain the proper functioning of the engine and ensures that the vehicle operates safely. What to do? Take your car manual, go to the fuse section and check the number your EFI is labeled as. Then go to your vehicle's fuse box, this depending on your car, and pull out the fuse to replace it with a new one. 5. Clogged or dirty fuel injectors. Fuel injectors are components in internal combustion engines that deliver a controlled amount of fuel into the combustion chamber at precise times and in a fine spray pattern. This process ensures efficient fuel optimization, optimal air-fuel mixture, and improved combustion for engine performance, fuel efficiency, and emissions control. What to do? You can use a fuel pressure gauge to check the fuel pressure. If the pressure is low, you can clean the injector or replace them with new ones. 6. Clogged or dirty fuel filter. The car fuel filter is a critical component that helps clean fuel and prevent impurities from reaching the engine. ensuring smooth performance and longevity. It should be regularly inspected and replaced to maintain optimal functioning of the vehicle. What to do to replace the fuel filter can be somewhat complex procedure. It is best advised to acquire the help of your local mechanic to replace it. You have to buy the new fuel filter according to your car's model and make. 7. Damaged spark plugs. Spark plugs create the spark necessary to ignite the air-fuel mixture, initiating the combustion process. Properly functioning spark plugs are essential for engine performance, fuel efficiency, and emissions control. Spark plugs can also cause an issue for an engine trying to rev. Fault. Spark plugs, oil contaminated, worn out, eroded, or incorrect gaps can stop them from igniting the fuel. This can also cause your engine to not go past 3000 RPM. What to do? You can check the damaged spark plugs by using a spark plug tester to check for spark. If there is no spark, you can replace them with new ones. 8. Bad ignition coil. An igniting coil is a crucial component in a vehicle's ignition system that transforms low-voltage electrical power from the battery into a high-voltage spark necessary to ignite the fuel-air mixture in the engine's cylinder, allowing the engine to run. If the ignition coil is bad, it may not be able to provide enough voltage to the spark plugs, causing the car to not go past 3000 RPM. What to do? You can check a bad ignition coil by using a multimeter to test the resistance of the coil. If the resistance is outside of the manufacturer's specification, the coil needs to be replaced. 9. Car in limp mode. The limp mode, also known as limp home mode or safe mode, is a feature in modern vehicles that restricts the engine's performance and speed to prevent further damage when a critical issue is detected. It's often triggered by sensor malfunctioning, overheating, or other serious problems. The first function that usually goes when the car is in limp mode is the speed. To be sure, the car's inability to go past 3000 RPM is caused by limp mode. What to do? The best thing to do is to use an OBD2 diagnostic tool to check what caused to enter limp mode, or you can refer to your automobile mechanic. 10. Blocked catalytic converter. A catalytic converter is an emission control device in vehicles that reduces harmful pollutions in exhaust gases by catalyzing chemical reactions. It converts toxic components like carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and unburned hydrocarbons into less harmful substances like carbon dioxide, water, and nitrogen. A blocked catalytic converter occurs when the converter becomes obstructed, hindering the flow of exhaust gases. This can result that the car can't go past 3000 RPM. What to do? Depending on the severity of the blockage, the catalytic converter may need repair or replacement. Your mechanic will advise on the best course of action. 11. Faulty ECU. The engine control unit ECU in a car is a crucial component that manages various aspects of the engine performance, fuel efficiency, emissions, and more. It processes data from sensors throughout the vehicle and adjusts parameters to optimize engine operation. A failed ECU can keep the vehicle in a permanent limp mode. Another issue with ECUs that can happen is its ability to process sensor data. This can lead to incorrect fuel injection, timing, and other engine control parameters. As a result, the engine may not receive the appropriate signal to rev past 3000 RPM. An ECU can fail from power supply problems, water damage, wiring, or a software update. What to do? This needs specialized diagnostic tools to assess the ECU's functionality and pinpoint any problems. Consult a qualified mechanic or auto technician to diagnose the issue. 12. Clogged air filter. A car air filter's primary function is to clean the air entering the engine by trapping dust, dirt, pollen, and other particles. This helps maintain optimal air quality and protects the engine from potential damage or reduced performance caused by these contaminants. You can see if it is clogged by simply looking at it. What to do? You can replace it by yourself if it is easy, or otherwise take it to your mechanic. 13. Faulty throttle position sensor. The throttle position sensor monitors and reports the position of the throttle valve to the engine control unit (ECU). The ECU uses this information to adjust the air-fuel mixture for optimal engine performance and fuel efficiency. A faulty throttle position sensor can cause issues like poor acceleration, stalling, or rough idling, and can make your car do not go past 3000 RPM. What to do? You can diagnose it by using a multimeter to test the resistance of the sensor. If the resistance is outside of the manufacturer's specification, it needs to be replaced. 14. Transmission issue. A car transmission is a vital component that transmits power from the engine to the wheels, allowing the vehicle to move. There are primarily two types, automatic and manual. Usual problems are gear slippage, transmission shifting problems, low transmission fluid, failed transmission control module, and mechanical failure. What to do? Use a diagnostic tool to identify the problem. B. Fluid check and change. Ensure that the fluid is at the correct level and in good condition. If it's dirty or low, consider to change the fluid. Transmission flush. Sometimes a transmission flush can help remove debris and contaminants. D. Replace solenoids or sensor. It's best to have a mechanic to diagnose and repair this issue. 15. Diesel particulate filter or DPF sensor. The DPF is designed to trap and store soot and particulate matter produced during the combustion process to reduce emissions. The DPF sensor monitors the status and efficiency of the filter, providing feedback to the vehicle engine control unit (ECU). This information helps the ECU to optimize the engine performance and trigger regeneration cycles where the accumulated soot is burned off to keep the DPF functioning effectively and reduce emissions. When the DPF sensor goes bad, it can potentially cause issues with the car's performance, including difficulty in reaching higher RPMs, like 3000 RPM. What to do? You need to confirm that the DPF sensor is indeed malfunctioning through diagnostic test and error codes readings from your vehicle's OBD system. For the replacement of the DPF sensor, it's advisable to seek help from a qualified mechanic. 16. Split vacuum pipe to turbo wastegate. The wastegate in a turbocharger system is a crucial component that helps regulate the boost pressure produced by the turbo. Its primary function is to control and optimize the amount of exhaust gases reaching the turbocharger, thus regulating the speed of the turbo and the pressure it generates. A splitting vacuum line to the turbo wastegate incorrectly or inappropriately can potentially cause issues with the turbocharger's operation and, in turn, affect the engine's performance, and can be a cause that your car can't go past 3000 RPM. What to do? Ensure the vacuum line split is secure and properly connected. Check for any leaks in the vacuum lines or at the connection points. Make sure you've split the vacuum line appropriately and connected it to the wastegate in the correct manner. Test the wastegate to see if it's opening and closing correctly. If you're still encountering issues, it's advisable to seek assistance from a qualified mechanic. 17. AGR clogged. the AGR exhaust gas recirculation system in a car helps reduce emissions by recirculating a portion of the exhaust gases back into the engine's intake manifold, allowing for better combustion and lowering nitrogen oxide emissions. A malfunctioning AGR system can potentially cause the car to have difficulty going past 3000 rpm. If the AGR valve is stuck open or closed, it can affect the engine's performance and limit the RPM range. What to do? A. Check the AGR valve and associated components to confirm it's clogged from carbon buildup or other debris blocking the valve. B. Clean the AGR valve by using a specialized AGR cleaner. C. Check for vacuum leaks by inspecting the vacuum lines connected to the AGR system for any leak or damage. D. After cleaning, install it and check if the issue is resolved. Implement regular maintenance to prevent future clogging. E. If the issue persists, consult a professional mechanic. 18. Block or split intercooler. An intercooler is a device used in turbocharged or supercharged engines to cool the intake air before it enters the engine. This helps increase the air density and, consequently, the engine's performance. A poorly functioning or damaged intercooler can affect engine's performance, especially at higher RPMs. If an intercooler is not effectively cooling the intake air, it can lead to increased air temperatures entering the engine, potentially causing decreased power output and performance issues, especially at higher RPMs. What to do? If you suspect an issue with your intercooler, it's advisable to have it inspected and, if is necessary, repaired or replaced by a qualified mechanic. 19. The inlet port shut-off servo motor. This is a component that controls the opening and closing of the intake ports in the engine. Its purpose is to manage and regulate the airflow and fuel intake into the engine, allowing for precise control over the combustion process, optimizing efficiency, performance, and emissions. Additionally, it aids in shutting off the air intake completely when needed, such as during engine shutdown or specific operational requirements. A faulty car inlet servo motor could potentially restrict airflow and affect the engine's performance, possibly limiting the car's ability to go past 3000 rpm. What to do? In this case, it's best to have a mechanic to diagnose and repair any issues with the servo motor to ensure optimal performance. 20. Turbo electric actuator. Almost every modern diesel and also petrol engines are equipped with an exhaust gas turbocharger to increase engine performance and efficiency. A turbo actuator is a valve that diverts exhaust gases away from the turbine wheel, helping to control the speed of the turbine and prevent it from overspeeding, and in turn regulating the speed of the compressor and so the boost pressure. This helps to protect the turbocharger from unnecessary wear by capping the maximum boost pressure of the turbo at a safe level. The turbocharger uses a vehicle's exhaust to power a turbine, which forces more air into the vehicle's engines to help it go faster. So a malfunctioning or improperly functioning turbo electric actuator can cause the car to not go past a certain RPMs, such as 3000 rpm. If the actuator is not functioning correctly, it may not allow the turbocharger to spool up and provide the necessary boost pressure, limiting the engine's performance and RPM range. What to do? It's best advised to take your car to a mechanic or auto repair shop for a thorough diagnosis. They can use diagnostic tools to assess the functionality of the turbo electric actuator. 21. The idle air control valve. The main purpose of the idle air control valve is to ensure a stable and consistent idle speed for the engine when the vehicle is stationary or during deceleration. It helps maintain a smooth and steady idle, preventing stalling or rough idling. The actuator either bypasses the throttle or operates the throttle butterfly valve directly. The idle air control valve typically consists of a motor-driven valve that opens and closes to control the airflow. The ECU adjusts the position of this valve to maintain the desired idle speed. So, a malfunctioning or faulty idle air control valve can potentially cause the car to have difficulty going past a certain RPM, such as 3000 RPM. What to do? It's best advised to take your car to a mechanic or auto repair